Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Malaysian Student Podcast. Today, for this episode, we could be talking about war, specifically the Russo-Ukrainian war that's happening right now. By the way, today I'm being joined by Rishi and Junjie.
Hello everyone.
Hello everyone.
Right. Nothing much to really say lah. Let's just get straight into it. Right, so to give a bit of a brief history about Ukraine, Ukraine proclaimed sovereignty back in 16th of July 1990, and Ukraine became independent in 1st of December 1991 after, which is like I think 20 days before the fall of the Soviet Union. So yeah, around that time Ukraine became independent and was an independent country. And then after that, in 2014, Crimea, which is as one of the Ukrainian regions, was taken over, or let's just say invaded, by Russia. And this sparked international outrage and is condemned by the United Nations and the European Union. And then in 2019, Volodymyr Zelensky was elected as the president of Ukraine, which is the current sitting president right now for Ukraine, and is the president that's leading the war against Russia for Ukraine. And then in December 2021, which was last year, Putin deployed troops near the Ukrainian border, and at that point, a lot of international countries, especially the United States, have been warning Ukraine about an invasion, but no one really took it that seriously because, at that time, it was very unlikely that Russia would invade Ukraine altogether. And then, come 21st of February 2022, Russian President, what's his name? Vladimir Putin. He proclaimed the independence of the Ukrainian regions of Donetsk and Luhansk as independent states. And immediately after that, Putin sent troops into the two states to, quote-unquote, keep the peace in the area. And just a few days later, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which was on the 24th of February. And that invasion of Ukraine happened from 24th of February all the way until today. So yeah, very, very brief history of the Russo-Ukrainian war and how it happened.
Now that we have gone through the brief history about the Russo-Ukrainian war, let's take it step by step now. Let's go to the beginning, which is Zelensky being elected as the president of Ukraine. Did you all know that Zelensky was a comedian before he became a president?
Yeah, and he was an actor in several different TV shows as well. And actually, he was an actor as the Ukrainian president in a TV show. I don't remember the name, but he was an actor for it.
The TV show was Servant of the People. That's the title. So in that TV show, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was a history teacher who got the chance to become president. And then people were very much interested in the way he acted out his part in the story, of course, as a president who goes against the injustice and everything. Injustice or injustice? Injustice, right?
Injustice.
Yes, injustice and unjust things. And then, if I'm not mistaken, he won the majority on that in his election by 70% against the ruling party. So it was a very big victory for him.
Okay, that's a history of Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay, so let's just go on to the main talking point I'm sure if you guys have read the news or whatever, you would know that Russia has failed miserably in the invasion of Ukraine. Putin and his advisors actually thought that the war would end in like what? The invasion would take about like a few weeks at best, at most.
Initially, they expected it to be less than 24 hours. So they just, not only Russia, the whole world thought it's just going to take them one day. Like they just enter and then they announce Ukraine as the independent country, and not announce, like take over Ukraine. That's what people all over the world thought.
Even if it's not a day, maybe at best a week, at most. But well, apparently it didn't even take a day. It took like what, 4 months, and right now, the Russian military is retreating back to the their initial starting point before the invasion. Actually, correction. Most of the Russian military is withdrawing back. I'm not really certain about the current situation in Mariupol, which is one of the coastal cities of Ukraine. I'm not really sure about the situation in that region. So I'm gonna correct myself and say most of the Russian military is pulling back. Now, what not a lot of people really know about is how did Russia fail so miserably in the invasion.
I thought that taking Ukraine is just a piece of cake.
Yes.
They didn't expect all the people, all the Ukrainians, they are so united. Even until now, they haven't lose. And also at the same time, their president also trying very hard to seek the help from all the European countries. Because actually, I think we should explain why Russia want to invade Ukraine. Because actually Ukraine is actually a barrier because of its location between European countries and Russia. So Ukraine's decision will decide the future of European and Russia. For example, because Ukraine want to join NATO, right, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So if Ukraine successfully join NATO, it would be economically and militarily a big disadvantage to Russia.
As to why it's a big disadvantage is very very complicated. Let's just say that, and it would take a lot of explanation for it. A lot of explanation, a lot of going through about the history and geography of the area, which I think we don't have the time for, but we will leave links to YouTube videos down in the description below, which will go into detail about these aspects. Right now, we're just giving you guys a simple overview. And apart from military concerns, we can also say that Russian President Putin maybe had visions of uniting again the Soviet Union. That's one of the few rumors that's been going around as well.
Exactly. It is also said that Putin's... Should we say Mr. Putin or just say Putin?
President Putin.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay. Anyways, it is said that President Putin's biggest dream is to unite the Soviet Union back to its old glory. It's said to be one of his biggest goals in life. People even say that this was the inspiration behind him becoming a president of Russia.
Yeah, and of course these are all just rumors lah, not nothing confirmed or whatever.
True. And one more factor for why Russian invasion of Ukraine failed miserably is because it became an urban warfare. Do you know what's urban warfare? Urban warfare
Means they are fighting in the cities, like close quarter combats in the city, in the streets of Ukraine itself, especially in the capital of Kiev.
Yes, exactly. no matter how trained or how specialized an army is, Ukraine will always have Ukrainian citizens or Ukrainian military soldiers will always have an upper hand when it's their own place because they know their place better than anyone else. So when Russia attacked any places in Ukraine, Ukraine had the upper hand of knowing the place very well, up to the point that they can defeat the soldiers.
Yes, and urban warfare throughout history has been very deadly to especially to both sides, especially the invading military. And a great example of this was back in World War II, the Battle of Stalingrad, or should I say the Siege of Stalingrad, where German invaded Russia, and yeah, the Russian military actually used urban warfare against the Germans, which was very deadly, and it's said to be one of the deadliest battles in World War II.
For those who are wondering how Guo knows this information, mind you, he's a World War II specialist. He has gone through every history and battles that is in World War II, so don't mind him.
Major
He is
ones,
knowledgeable.
the major ones.
Don't lie, lah. That day I saw you reading up something that I've never even heard before.
What?
Okay, but never mind. I don't. That's why I say I never heard before, right? I still don't know what it is.
All right. So yeah,
He's
that's.
definitely the war expert.
I mean, I like reading about it.
So, listeners, anyone interested to know more about a specific war in detail, you can send us a DM in Instagram, and Goha will happy to help.
Don't do that.
You're signing a new job. Okay, go on.
All right, and also another factor is that Russia they did not account for how long this invasion will take, because they only send troops in with the required amount of resources that they anticipated, which is 24 hours of resources maybe. And also, so yeah, after like maybe the initial invasion, most of the Russian soldiers are running out of equipment and resources and food to continue advancing. So yeah, if you go into social media, you can also see that a lot of videos about Russian soldiers looting shops in Ukraine, especially like those small businesses, convenience shops. You can see a lot of videos showing them doing it. So which also goes to show like how underprepared and under-equipped these soldiers are.
Do you know this is ironic? You know why this is ironic? Do you know Napoleon Bonaparte?
Yeah.
One of the main reasons why his invasion of Russia failed is because of this. They were underprepared, and also the weather.
Yes.
It was to conquer Russia. So,
and also the same thing happened during Germany's invasion of Russia as well in World War II.
So what we see is history does repeat itself at times. Oh my God.
Yeah, some of the Russian soldiers, they just thought it was a military exercise.
Yes.
Like, only they went there just for practice.
Yeah, they did. Most of them didn't even know that they were in Ukrainian territory.
They didn't know they would be involved in a real war.
Yes.
And they all thought that, wow, the Ukrainians will celebrate.
Yeah,
celebrate when they came to the
welcome them as their heroes.
Yeah, that was all lie.
Yes, and also during most of the soldiers during that deployment, they also don't have their phones with them, so they can't keep up with the latest news. So yeah, that's also another reason for it.
One of the biggest thing that happened during this this war, do you know that all the citizens were allowed to have weapons? Like every citizen were allowed to have weapons.
Yes. And also with right now with social media and the age of the internet, people were sharing about how to counter Russian soldiers and how to destroy or immobilize their vehicles with homemade, Molotovs? Was it homemade Molotovs?
Like PUBG one.
Yeah, those
Sure.
Molotovs are like when you throw and then it creates like a big fire like that. Like beer bottles and then you throw and then like a big fire come out. Yeah, those are
Wow.
called Molotovs.
That's kind of crazy. Technological era giving so many people so much ideas. But the
Yes.
whole world, not the whole world, I shouldn't say the whole world. Most of the world was supporting Ukraine in this war.
Yes, and also another account that Russia didn't didn't expect was how the Western world would react to the invasion, because like in the first week of the invasion, the Western world like imposed so many sanctions on Russia that it just completely crippled their economy. Because if you see back in 2008 when they invaded Georgia, like not a lot of severe sanctions was imposed, and also in 2014 when they invade Crimea, like nothing much was really done. Like not a lot of severe sanctions were there.
If you go into Google and search for Russian currency, you can see that is one during where it is somewhere between wait I can't see it just a minute. Somewhere between January and May, you can see a big dip in the currency. Rubles went so down that it seemed like the whole economical stability of Russia was crippled.
Yeah.
So the sanctions were very bad, that bad.
Yeah, very bad.
Yeah, and I think from the news, some businessmen of Russia already left the country, right?
Yeah, businessmen also known as what's it called? Oligarchs. Is that how you pronounce it? Oligarchs means
Yes, oligarchs.
very very rich people that control the political landscape of a certain country. That's who you regard as oligarchs.
Until one point, it seemed like the whole world was against Russia.
Unless
Until
a big country.
And also another problem is their poor logistics for Russia. Russia, because they rely a lot on their railway network to transport equipment, especially the military equipment. But the moment where the train line stops, they have to move the rest of their equipment by trucks. But these trucks, Russia don't have a lot of, and at that point of the war, they were focusing on resupplying their missile batteries with missiles, and primarily missiles and a single missile is already taken up like one single truck already. So a lot of their trucks were occupied with transporting the missiles from the train station to wherever their missile battery is, which means that most of their soldiers were not getting enough food, enough supply on the front lines to support the invasion. And also, another one is that Russia was using unsecured communications. These are just speculations. I don't know whether is it actually confirmed or not, but Russia was using like radios back in, I don't know, like during the Soviet era, like their communications were obsolete. Let's just say when how do you define obsolete? Obsolete means no longer out of date, which makes it easy for Western countries, especially the United States, to help Ukraine gather intelligence, or maybe teach the Ukrainians how to crack their code communications and to gather intelligence about Russian troop movements and all those sort of stuff. And also there have also been people saying that even amateur radio enthusiasts can listen in on the Russian communications and also stream them on the internet as well. I think yeah, people are actually streaming their Russian communications on the internet. So yeah, that's how bad their radios are.
By the way, yeah, I think previously at the beginning of the war, there were some hackers saying that they will hack the system of Russia, right?
Oh yeah, anonymous.
No, no,
Yeah, I
Anonymous.
think they did hack a lot of different military branches, especially the most notable ones are Russian Ministry of Defense, and then they also leaked tons of classified documents. I think they also hacked some of their news network as well.
Man, it was reported that they found 17,000 IP addresses who were hacking from all over the world.
Yeah,
They only found 17,000, but the hackers community know that it's way more than 17,000. To cripple a system as powerful as Russia, it took a long tough.
so yeah, that's just basically why the Russian invasion failed. Now let's like move into a bit more of the political slash military section of the podcast. One of the main reasons why Russian invade Ukraine is also to stop the NATO expansion. NATO, I'm sure, I think Junjie mentioned just now, the North Atlantic, North Atlantic what? The
Okay.
North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is basically an intergovernmental military alliance. Means to strengthen the military relationship between its member states. One of the main what is it? Okay, so back in 2008, somewhere around 2008, Ukraine actually applied to become a NATO member, but Russia was very against it back then, because that's also one of the reasons they want to. I think that's also one of the reasons they invaded Ukraine, which is to prevent the NATO expansion and to have NATO like right next to their country, because Ukraine and Russia border is actually a very big border. But with the invasion of Ukraine, this has also triggered the Nordic countries of Finland and Sweden, who weren't part of NATO, to apply membership to be part of NATO. Originally, they were not keen of being part of NATO, but due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, they are now very keen on becoming part of NATO. And as expected, Russia was very unhappy about it. Like Russia has been issuing threats saying that if Finland join NATO, if Sweden join NATO, we will take military action. But to be honest, with the state of their Ukrainian invasion going, let's just say most of the international world aren't taking their threats seriously right now. Even if you go onto social media like Reddit, like a lot of people have been saying Russia like, you're just giving empty threats, like right now, like a lot of people don't take their Russian military so seriously.
But it's a fact that Russia is only using 1/3 of its full army.
They still
They
have
have nuclear weapon.
still have the nuclear
Yeah,
weapons.
exactly. It is also worth mentioning that Russia was very keen on not attacking the civilians in Ukraine during the beginning of the war. They were kind of very keen on that motive, that they don't want to attack anyone except for the military. Because what they said was their fight is against the government, not the people.
No one wants the World War III to happen, right?
Yes.
Exactly. That's one of the main reasons nuclear weapons are not still being used. If there's a usage of a nuclear weapon, it's a full-fledged World War III. People are very careful. If it happens, it is safe to say that humans can't live without a war for at least 100 years.
which is true.
Yeah.
The World War ended 1945, right? World War II.
Like even in
I think
even in between World War II and now, there's been a lot of war going on, especially in the Middle East. We have the Iraqi invasion. What else? Iraqi invasion of Kuwait. Iraq and Iran not happy with each other. Egypt and Israel, their war there over the Suez Canal. Yeah.
the difference between those wars and World War is these wars are very localized. Like the southern region is having a problem, but World War kind of involves every country on earth.
Oh
When
well,
World War
yeah, and
Three
also
happened,
let's not forget about the Falkland War.
yeah, humans can't seem to live without wars for a long time.
Yep.
It takes out the fun out of living. I don't get that. I don't get the notion, but still, they have their own reasons. We're not here to debate whether it's valid or false. We're just giving our opinions.
Humans tend to fight,
Yeah,
no matter how stupid the reason is. Just want to fight.
yeah, like the Vietnam War. The United States went to war with Vietnam because of communism, but in the end they lost the Vietnam War because of guerrilla warfare, which most of the U.S. soldiers were not equipped for. So yeah, war has been happening for a very long time. So yeah, war has been happening for a long time. And speaking of the United States and Vietnam, United States is helping Ukraine immensely when it comes to providing military equipment, providing financial aid, providing intelligence. So
Exactly.
yeah, Rishi, do you want to go in detail about it?
Yeah, right. In the beginning of war, people were not expecting Ukraine to stand up against Russia, stand up with Russia. Then once they decided to stand up, countries all over the world started to help Ukraine in an indirect manner. Instead of sending soldiers, they sent equipment. At first, the equipments were not very high tech, but after they saw Ukraine is starting to kind of get an upper hand over Russia, started to send high tech equipment. And one of the major countries to send the equipment was US. At one point in this war, it started to seem more of like Ukraine versus Russia. No, not Ukraine, sorry. More of like US versus Russia. And both of the countries are using Ukraine as a battlefield. That was the situation for a bit of time in between the war. One of the most remarkable thing US did for Ukraine is they sent an 800 million arms package that included heavy artillery and more than 121 unmanned combat drones. These drones are not normal drones. They just don't go up and attack. These drones have a high-tech system where it can detect. Do you know remote control drones where they have camera on it and you can see it from remote control?
Reconnaissance drones.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the name. I'm not very tech savvy. Sorry. So so the soldiers don't have to go in directly. Like they just use the controller. Then they see the drones, see the what this. They can see what the drones see, and they can attack from there.
So basically, it's like
And
a
mind you,
multi-role drone. It can conduct reconnaissance. It also can give air support to any soldiers on the battlefield, and so it can fire missiles from it. I'm sure those drones are equipped with air to surface missiles as well, or even air to air missiles.
very true. This drone come along with that as well. But the remarkable thing about this drone has the ability to, immobilize the tanks. I think tanks or vehicles.
Anti-tank missiles.
Yes, these drones have the ability to completely mobilize a vehicle or a tank. That's why this was actually the people thought it would be a game changer, where Ukraine can get upper hand over Russia, but it didn't go the way they intended to. But still, this was a big fight against Russia.
Actually, the game changer was other countries sending in javelin missiles and anti-tank missiles, shoulder-mounted missile launchers that can fire missiles that can disable tanks.
Well, all those are just alien language for me.
Good.
By the way, I think the UK also supplied some military equipment to Ukraine, right? At
Yes.
the end of the April.
Yes, they did send a lot. And also, I don't know if you guys read the news, Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, actually went to Ukraine to meet with
Yes.
President Zelensky.
Yes.
Yeah, so quite an interesting little fact right there.
Yeah,
Wait.
and this war has just become like the game between those great powers, those great countries.
Yeah.
This World War II all over again. But this time the war is between different people.
Yeah, between different people.
And you know that Russia withdrew its forces from the whole of Ukraine to the Donbas region, right?
Yeah, the Donbas region, and I'm not sure about the situation in Mariupol, one of the coastal cities. I'm not sure about that.
Okay. What happened was during this time period where Ukraine, where Russia announced that they're going to withdraw and they're withdrawing in the process. U.S. President Joe Biden, he went. I'm not sure which country, but he went to a neighboring country, like country near Poland, like the Ukraine area, lah. And he was giving a speech about. Okay, in essence, it just meant that Joe Biden was kind of boasting that. Not boasting. He was making a statement that U.S. is the greater power compared to other countries. That's not exactly what he said, but that's the sense of it. During this time, Russian soldiers who were withdrawing, they attacked the cities nearby Poland, the border, right? They were attacking at the same time. So it was seen more of like a retaliation of Russia against US. So that's the time people knew that Joe Biden kind of screwed up because he was kind of editing Russia to be more aggressive.
Yeah, but to be honest, from his standpoint, you can say that he's trying to like boost morale, like gain same propaganda, creating propaganda. So yeah.
It's true, like in war, if you boost one's morale, you are depleting another person's morale, right? That's true. In war, if you boost once, you are depleting another's. And talking about propaganda, did you know about the peace talks that were going on between Russia and Ukraine?
Yeah,
What happened to that?
I think that they did have some talks about peace. I think the first peace talk was in Belarus between some minister, some representatives from both countries, but that didn't go anywhere.
The peace treaties were going.
Yeah, and also I think they both sides did send in their what they call it, their
ambassadors.
No, their what do you call it? 条件
Requirements.
No, that's
What
another.
demands?
Yeah, their demands. Yeah, both sides did send in their demands, but of course they don't like it, so nothing lah. So no peace talk lah.
But towards the end of the peace talk, President Zelensky, he was keen. He was like, okay, you don't want us to join NATO, right? We won't join NATO. At one point he said that, but that's the time where the attack on Russia happened by Ukraine. Remember the helicopter going off, going into. If I'm mistaken, it was an oil.
Or
storage, right?
yeah, fuel depot
inside Russian border. Then a helicopter went and destroyed the oil depot, and that was the event that kind of ultimately ended the peace talk. Russia was like, okay, nope, we are talking peace and you are attacking us. No, we want it to be full-on assault, and that's another event that kind of messed up the whole peace talk. Okay, everyone.
Um,
Yeah.
hmm?
Everyone. Okay, no, not talking to you lah, for the listeners. Everyone, today is not more of an episode, but it's more of like a discussion between the three of us about what we think about the war and what happened here and there. You may have noticed that this is not following any kind of flow because we are just going top of our mind and we want to see what the other person thinks.
So yeah, I think that's all the time we have for this episode. Do let us know if you guys enjoyed it. Let us know in the comment section down below if you guys enjoyed this episode, and be sure to head over to our Instagram. Link for it is down in the description below for more content about the Russo-Ukrainian war. I'm not really sure what the IG team will be posting lah, but it will be interesting. So yeah, do head over and check it out and drop us a follow while you're at it. So yeah, and with that, I would like to thank Junja and Rishi for joining me in this episode. Rishi, I know Rishi sounds very unwell throughout the entire episode.
Because I am unwell. It's more of a sinus attack that happens to me every single day. When it's cold. Yeah.
I hope you are feeling better tomorrow lah. That's all for this episode. Thank you very much for listening to us talking about wars. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.